How are you going? I wanted to bring something completely different to the table and something very dear to my heart because of my mum, and I've watched my daughter with birthing as well. And yeah, it is birthing with dolphins. I've got your attention now. Did you know that dolphin assisted birth is something that they did not want you to know about? As why are we not told or educated about it? He assisted with dolphin assisted births as the dolphins take over the birthing process, as they would swim around the mother and relax her with sonar frequencies, which would make the birth painless and quick. I'd be up for that for sure. After knowing what a woman goes through, just knowing that that is possible, and they've taken it away from us. They used to have it operating. Check out thousands of testimonials of babies being born with dolphin-assisted births are far more advanced than the average child. They assist by healing and boosting the systematic function of the babies by telepathically communicating with them. Have you ever wondered why they've prevented you from communicating with the dolphins? Unless you're in an enclosed environment like the theme parks. You're encouraged not to be out there with the dolphins if you see them. You know, you're not allowed to. It's the endangered species and the wild. Who are they protecting? Question mark. The dolphins? Ourselves? I don't think so. They are keeping us dumbed down from this new knowledge and the connection of one mammal to another mammal and the birthing process. They are the keepers of the lost knowledge of the healing wisdom. For many years, this gentleman Igor dreamed of water birth, which he considered crucial to human evolution. He believed that when born on land, the newborn expected a gravitational shock, which significantly limited his or her abilities, and was convinced that the brain volume and consequently intellectual potential increased in the weightlessness of a water birth. According to Igor, dolphins could provide an indispensable assistance in the human adaptation to water and take babies born in water into their pod. The dream became a reality, and the first home water birth happened in 1980, and the first sea birth took place in 1986. There was another doctor, Dr. Martha, 43. He had spent 20 years researching childbirth and believes that dolphins can help a woman deliver with almost no pain. Now, mind-blowing, just those words alone. As a birther myself, a woman that has given birth to my beautiful babies. That's insane when I just read that. By passing an underwater sonar and essences of support. This woman that gave birth with the dolphins agrees. Giving birth in the Red Sea with dolphins was the most wonderful experience of my life. She says, I was in complete control of the situation and didn't feel under pressure to perform. As you do in hospital with the doctors and nurses milling around. That happens so quickly. and I wasn't in pain. Again, there's no pain was mentioned. The dolphins came close, but not too close. It felt like they wanted their presence to be known, but didn't want to be too intrusive, she says. Breathe that in, take it in. A dolphin are said to be able to sense if a woman is pregnant before she may know herself in some cases. Sarah said she had gone out swimming with a dolphin weeks prior to giving birth, and she could feel her baby kicking inside her when she would touch or reach out to pat the dolphin. Dr. Martha also encouraged self-hypnosis techniques during the labour. He states, women feel safe when they're in the water with the dolphins. Those wonderful mammals understand joy at a very deep level. Swimming with them enables a prospective mother to be in touch with joy, which is the true essence to birth. Hospitals tend to turn the birth of a child into an organised, sanitised affair over which the professional rather than the mothers have no control. This is absolutely amazing, and I saw that over in Hawaii they had a birthing centre and they closed it down. And this is something else I was reading. The Russian male midwife has assisted in over 20,000 underwater births, but in 1979 he began experiments with dolphins in children. His daughter, one of the first modern water birthers, was in her late 20s when the following incident happened. Igor and his team had taken a woman to the Black Sea for an underwater birth. In 2 feet of water, preparing for the birth, suddenly 3 dolphins approached, pushed everyone out of the way and took over.
And incredible stories come to light of the baby reading powers of dolphins. It happened at Tangalooma. The pod detected a pregnancy and it turned into a battle of the sexes. When sun sets on Moreton Island, it's quite a show. The wild dolphins swim into Tangalooma for their evening feed, a rare and touching experience for any visitor. And for the Osborns, even more so. Teresa was working at the resort when she fell pregnant with her first child, Olivia, many years ago. Usually pregnant mums aren't allowed in the water, but as a feeder, Teresa witnessed incredible dolphin behaviour.
It was just the females who would hang around and actually form a semicircle around my stomach. So it was amazing.
Dolphins use echolocation to search out dark surrounds. They send a pulse from their head. If it hits an object, the echo bounces back to the sensitive bones in their jaw. It's how they find food and how they determine pregnancy in their pods. And, it seems, they're human friends.
When there's half a dozen dolphins, you can actually feel it. It's like standing next to a really big loud bass. Olivia obviously felt it. That was the baby in my tummy, because she would actually keep circling in my tummy as well.
The same performance happened night after night. The female dolphins would surround Teresa. The male dolphins, the blokes, well, they just weren't interested.
They took off. The females wouldn't swim away until Teresa left the water. Girls stick together.
If they're pregnant, they will group with other pregnant females, and if they have small calves, they will group with other females with young calves. And they do that so that they can share kind of the work that's involved.
So was the interaction with Teresa a sign of a connection between man and mammal?
I wouldn't be surprised if they're just curious and they're just checking out what's going on.
As for baby Olivia, she's 13 now and loves visiting the Tangalooma dolphins.
I love them very much. One of my favourite animals, yeah.
Amanda McClay, 10 News.
They scanned the length of the body with sonar, which somehow relaxed the mother and child and gave birth with no pain or fear. Apparently, the human midwives were pretty shocked. This happened up the new practice of dolphin midwifery, which may sound strange, but fits in with the new breed of super children that are currently coming into the existence. For some reason, dolphins are attracted to pregnant women and young children, and as most people are aware, the dolphins can also heal people with mental and psychological problems. But the children who are being born with the aid of the dolphins, at least with the cases documented in Russia, are extraordinary children. Most of them have IQs of over 150, genius range again, plus extremely stable emotional bodies and strong physical bodies. They are the superior in one way or another. Humans are meant to give birth in the water. Some 3 decades of research and the experience of thousands of births has shown that underwater births have shown that being birthed underwater is better for the mother and for the baby. The mother is supported by the water, which permits her relaxation and easy movement and during labour of the baby from the womb to the water. The buoyancy of the water supports the baby's brain and protects it as its most vulnerable time. Research, go and research dolphin-assisted births by Igor Chaskowski. It's fascinating to read, and so I called a midwife, and I just wanted to see her view of when I presented this to her, and because I know she doesn't know anything about it. And yeah, you'll now see the interview that I did with Stacey, and yeah, it was really spectacular, which was wonderful. So go and listen. Hi Stacey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Now, Stacey, you were a midwife, and for how many years have you been doing midwifery?
So this 10 years. So the
Wow.
three years as a student and then 10 years on my own.
Wow. That honestly, when just doing midwifery, having the opportunity to bring in babies, oh my God, that'd be amazing. Just
yep. And there was lots of them.
Yeah, it's like you're a new mum all the time because you're getting up on early hours, I suppose. Were there many in the early hours, or is it during the day? When did they normally like to come through?
Always had runs. Like sometimes you might have a run of night babies, and then you'd have a really good run of day babies. But I suppose it kind of evened out in the end.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I know that, you were like many of us that stood your ground, and you had to walk away from your love of being a midwife for, not receiving that juice and standing up with the rest of us. And so, yeah, congratulations, because, yeah, I totally feel that you're going to be rewarded so many other ways. That's coming forth. But I just wanted to have a chat with you because part of this video that I'm putting together is I wanted to speak to you on your experience with helping to deliver babies. I just wanted, with your knowledge and delivering the babies, what and how did you see it when women starting to look at more of the water birthing compared to laying on your back? What have you seen over that 10-year period? Did it start always, on your back? Has it merged slowly, or has it become quite a big thing now for women?
It's always been a thing, water birth. I feel like years ago water birth was quite accepted, and then times kind of changed and women went more into being in the hospital and on the bed. We've always tried to encourage water birth, and although a lot of women saying, oh, that sounds cool when you explain that, the baby's coming from water into water and it's really calming for them, it's good for to help ease each contraction and get through. It always sounds really nice until they talk to other people that kind of put a bit of fear in them. But I only ever had one woman, and I had quite a few water births luckily. I only ever had one woman that got in said, oh, I'll give it a go, and got in and then got back out. Once they're in there, women would relax, they would labour much better. They never regretted it. So once they have that experience and you get them to talk to other women about their experience, I feel like I probably did have quite a few more in the last couple of years than what I did before that. So yeah, I guess it's becoming more popular.
Yeah, so realistically, it sounds like more that, once a woman's experienced it and then she passes it on, and then it sort of opens the woman that's pregnant, about to give birth, gives an opportunity, because we only know what our mothers did. We only know to give birth, go to the hospital, end of story, because I know when I gave birth, that was it. I didn't have anyone telling me that I could do it at home. And if anything, I was given the fear of God to give birth at home. So it wasn't even a concept in my mind. And I had no one else, doing it at home. And it seemed to be like the hippie thing. But
It definitely is. Like speaking to other people, because I'd get a lot, like explain the different types of labours and births, and how good it is to birth at home and in the water. And a lot of women would come and say, or mention it before I'd mention it, and say, oh, what do you think of water birth or home birth, because my friend did it and they said it's amazing. So that would bring up a discussion, and those women would be the ones that were more likely to say, oh yeah, I might give water birth or home birth a go. And then of course the more, especially in my group and other groups of midwives, would talk about home birth and water birth, the more we encouraged women to do it and the more they did it, the more we would get women talking about it. So it's a community thing. It really is a community.
Yeah. And, you touched on before that you noticed the women were a lot more relaxed and they sort of went with, their birthing process. It was more of a natural and more relaxed. Did you notice that, did they set their room up? So you can do that at the hospital, but you can also do it at home, can't you?
Yeah, I think it's more women tend to set their house up. If they're going to have a water birth at home, they'll set it up. There are some women that will bring in like diffusers for aromatherapy, put some aromatherapy in the bath, the little like battery operated tea light candles. Some would take it into the hospital, but I think
it's more at home.
Yeah, more of a homely feel, and it kind of feels a bit different.
Yeah,
kind of home into the hospital.
And I know myself. Oh my God, for yourself to know that that's possible for women now. And I know my daughter, went through the home birthing with the pool, and to me it was like a love story, just watching just how much more relaxed and being present, and then having the environment. At home, and the music, and just the love around our daughter, that was a picture in itself. I'm very grateful for that experience,
and knowing that someone's not going to just walk in, like no matter how much you say don't come into the room in the hospital, you always have doctors coming in, you're always on a timer, so having the free movement to move around and knowing that no one's going to come in, and it's more relaxing. You can have as many loved ones in there as you want. You can free to get your cups of tea or the water, and both my girls had their first babies in the hospital, and then they had their subsequent babies at home, and they would not change it for the world.
Wow. And that's powerful in itself, because they've experienced both sides, and if for them to know what they like better, form of birthing out there, and I remember talking to you at one stage wouldn't it be amazing if a setup could be created, more of the homely, the support, because there was a big run of midwives that had left because of the mandates, and it's so cold and compared to the home birth, and then they've brought in the birthing with the pools. And then I've seen different organisations starting to set up, from midwifery, because they're wanting to change it up. I came across today, and this literally blew my mind when I was reading it and doing some research on it. The most natural thing for a child, because the baby's in the sac and it's in fluid, so to come out into water is the most amazing experience itself. They're not fighting against gravity. Baby just can float through and come out. And what's the experience of birthing a baby in the pool when baby takes its first breath?
It's very different. If you can imagine, like, they're getting squeezed coming out, and then all of a sudden they have this cold air on them, and yet the head's out, they're still quite squashed. So they're like, oh my gosh, what is this? And some of them really do come out quite stunned. I mean, they can in the water too, but less likely. But yeah, when they come out from water to water, a baby can stay in the water, because they're coming out into the same temperature. It's really important to keep the temperature 37 and above, because it's the same temperature. And a lot of babies, you let them kind of float. They won't breathe until they have that cold stimulation.
Wow.
So you can just leave them to slowly float up. And then when they finally sort of come up to the top, it's a little bit of cold air at the same, all at once.
Yeah.
It just slowly comes down, and you just bring their head up, and they just seem more relaxed.
Wow.
I guess when you first start doing it and you see your baby being so relaxed, you're like, okay, baby, like, you can breathe now, you can get some colour now. But when you realise that, they're still getting oxygen through the core because they're still attached, and they're just getting used to that, oh, there's a bit of cold on my face, not this instant, oh, shivers, there's a whole lot of cold on my face and on my whole body. They're like, oh, okay. So they're more curious rather than, oh my God, what just happened? I'm freezing cold all over.
Wow.
So they just,
that's
chill.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I took it one step further? She's thinking, what is she on about? So I was doing the research today, and it makes so much sense that to give birth with dolphins, because dolphins themselves read individuals. They read our energy. When they communicate, they have a sonar and they send the frequencies through. But because dolphins are so sensitive to, because we're the mammals as well as ourselves, so they can read our frequency and they can see that mum is in distress. So the dolphin will send out a sonar frequency through the water that the body picks up, but the baby resonates. So that sonar frequency that the dolphin emits relaxes and calms baby down. Not only the baby, also relaxes mum. She will circle the mum. So the whole frequency is that mum can just totally relax. And I was reading, there's a gentleman from Russia, and his name is Igor Charskovsky, and he was a Russian male midwife. And I did also read that he was also a psychic. So again, he energetically worked with the dolphins. And so they gave birth to their child with the dolphins, and so they experienced it. Now, what was really interesting, he's helped, it says there that he helped birth 20,000 babies with dolphins.
Wow.
And while the mother was giving birth, the way the dolphin sends the signal to the baby, baby relaxes, mum relaxes, they're more in an equilibrium. Because of this, her whole body goes into the birthing form. And when I was reading the testimonials and when I was reading all about it, baby comes through pain-free for mum. Hello. What the hell?
That makes sense. Like the frequency side of it.
Yes, because it's the dolphin is adjusting her body, adjusting the child, and it's a fast birth. It's actually a fast birth, much faster than the normal in the long time waiting. And the dolphin will swim around baby as well. But they also, there's so many benefits of that because I'll have to go through my notes, but I was just noting everything down, and I'm going to put that in the rest of my video. But the IQ is far greater because the baby coming through the birthing canal is going against gravity to come out. But where mum is completely relaxed, baby is relaxed, the frequency is relaxing their whole body, and baby just comes out.
Yes.
Now, doesn't that feel like it fits? It resonates. How are you feeling as a midwife when I speak of that? That's why I wanted to see your response.
Yeah. My mind's buzzing. Like, I think I understand that the dolphin sending the frequency, because I know how frequency works, chilling the mum, chilling the baby, and that's what we tell women all the time. Have your baby where you're relaxed. If if having candles is good, your own music is good, anything that makes you feel relaxed, labor and birth always goes better, and babies are always more chill. So that makes sense. The only thing that confuses me a little bit is the water temperature.
No, so what they did, that was overseas. So of course it was a nice, warm, day. But in saying that, the more I was reading, it was just the natural temperature. Okay, here in New Zealand, you wouldn't want to be doing that in a cold, windy Wellington, frosty morning. But I also saw they had centres with the temperature of the water for the baby's birthing, and but it's not as the same temperature as what we do, and like you assist, did, but will eventually with that 37-degree temperature, because mum is in that environment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Country, as long as as long as you're in the temperature and your body gets to that temperature and the baby comes out at that temperature.
And they had set up centres.
Wow.
And so I haven't gone into the further studies. I'm just doing this as in, people can go off and do their own research and look into it. But it totally made sense in the right environment setting, and the concept of why I wanted to present it to you is that my logic was, oh my God, the demonic way of giving birth. Where wouldn't it be the most unbelievable natural experience to give birth with dolphins in that right environment?
A
bond of another mammal that understands, and the midwives just sit back Well, the dolphins take over. It's the dolphins. The midwives don't do anything. Thought, this is our future. This is our future. What is stopping this? And what I did read in the research I was doing, all the papers had put all these headlines, how dangerous, blah, 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 condemned the man, said he left his wife after the baby. There was just so much of everything else. Put that aside. Why can't we put that out into the collective out there? For the right environment.
Yeah.
Because we are mammals. And the communication between dolphins and whales to ourselves is mind-blowing. And you imagine being able to give birth with the assistance of the dolphins.
Yeah, giving you what you need to relax. Yeah.
As a midwife, what's that? You know?
Very interesting.
It's given you food for thought, hasn't it?
But it really makes sense.
Yeah.
The frequency and keeping mum, because you're right about the way that birth has become, going to the hospital, lying on your back, being in fear mode.
Yes.
And everyone saying, well, I didn't know. The whole, my body didn't birth well. I needed intervention. I needed intervention because of this. I needed intervention because of that. And I think to me, that's what they've made.
Yes.
They want to put you in a fearful situation.
Yes. And it creates that fear, so mum goes into stress. But where you have dolphins that read the frequency, absolutely read the frequency of you and know how to calm your whole being right down.
That's exactly what you need to do. That's exactly what labouring well is being relaxed. Whatever it is that makes you relax, the frequency. That will
yeah. So I've swum with the dolphins.
Yeah.
And sorry?
It's amazing, eh?
Unbelievable. So that touches our soul. Because if you go back to what it was like, they're this ginormous mammal right there in front of you. And to be part of their world. But we are a living mammal ourselves. Okay, we walk, they swim. Go in their environment, and instead of being clinical, you are out in the ocean or wherever this can be set up, but you're in the environment of them, and they read the situation and they know how to calm you down. And once you are calm, baby's ready, you're ready, away, nature takes over. It sounds the most logical way of giving birth, and you look at yourself of giving birth all those years, and it's like, it makes sense. It honestly makes sense.
How do you get it out there? How do you get people
so I'm going to put the rest of the video together, and it's just the thought patterns, our wave of our frequency, because why can't this happen? And I'm going to leave it there, because I know that the more we put it out there, it can happen. It's a visualization that we're channeling out. The right people will pick it up. Imagine our future birthing. You imagine being a midwife assisting the dolphins and birthing these babies.
Being in the presence of a woman birthing and dolphins at the same time. Oh my God.
Let's make it happen, because realistically, why wouldn't you want to go that way? Why can't that happen? If women are birthing at home in a pool, but we take it that next step further, because I know my daughter would always, and my other daughter will always be in the pool. Take it to the next level. A mammal that reads your frequency, that knows exactly what you need, what the baby needs.
Yeah,
the dolphin
like
reads
really
you.
natural, amazing tools.
It's
dolphin.
yeah. So I was blown away, and I thought, oh my gosh, I just want to put you on the spot, see what you thought, and let's the universe do its magic, because that is incredible.
That is. It's a lot of yes. It's having that change in your brain from like what is it called? The logic of it all, like, but it makes sense. It's it's like unschooling yourself, eh?
Exactly. It's totally unschooling. And my brain was going nuts when I was reading. I just couldn't get enough. I was looking at the pictures. It's just so much. Yeah, I know myself. I'm going to put it out there to the universe because women deserve it. Women deserve to be able to give birth without the pain, without the fear, because you don't know what you're going to go through. You go into a hospital situation. It's noisy, bright lights, the lot. And here is something from nature that we could all be blessed with. Our children can be blessed. And so with the love of everybody else who's going to watch this, let's make it happen. Let the universe bring that through for all the up and coming mums, for our future babies coming through, because these star seeds deserve the best entry. And if we've got the best midwives, we've got the best setting, and we are birthing with dolphins.
Definitely worth going back to midwifery. Dolphins. My two favourite things.
Oh no, that's amazing. So thank you so much for having a chat with me, Stacey. It was an honour to bring you on and get your perspective, because with your years of experience with birthing babies, but to just see, that's why I didn't want to tell you what I was going to say to you, and capture the moment at the time. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Pleasure, and thanks for the thoughts.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you. Also, I know on a personal side of witnessing and watching my daughter give birth, it was incredible watching, just being in her own environment with her loved ones. We had beautiful sounding music, and we had the candles, and we just made it really special, everything that she wanted there, and it made a huge difference. But also the warmth, and she felt nurtured just even being in the water. If we could, oh my goodness, the next stage is dolphins. That's next level. And I know myself, I've swum with the dolphins, and I was in Mexico, and I had the most incredible experience with them. And it was 2 weeks that I had gone over there for a conference for my training of my quantum physics, and I was really homesick. I was really, really homesick. And before my swim, I'd been crying. I was really missing my family. And so then it was time to go and have the swim with the dolphins. And you get told you weren't allowed to wear the suntan lotion because it was chemicals into the water, and you had to be very careful you weren't allowed to wear your rings. And we also got told about our nails because they gave you a bit of an education about the dolphins to, look after them, because they said, picture and visualize this, because I can 100% confirm. They told us to visualize that the outer layer of their skin is like when you hard boil an egg. You take the shell off, and then it's that slimy, that white surface. That's exactly what the dolphins feel like. And so they said, if you got long nails, be really careful, because you could actually damage the skin. So that was definitely something I was made aware of. And so we went down to the water's edge, and they had the trainer there, and she chose a person to come into the water and pat. And she looked at me and she pointed to me and I went, oh my God. And it was the most incredible feeling for me, because when I saw the fin, I automatically, my brain goes shark. But it wasn't until I actually got in the water and he was talking, or she was talking away in their dolphin language, I settled down. I became calm because, yeah, my brain had seen the fin, so I automatically went to shark. Anyway, we went out into the water and I had the most unbelievable experience. We got told, we had a little life jacket on. We got told to make a human chain, so we did, and that was all good. And the trainers never told us what was going to happen. And so we're buoyancing in the water. It's very, very deep where we were. And next minute you heard the trainer blow the whistle. And I thought, oh, that's weird, what's that? Then all of a sudden, before they even appeared, there were 5 dolphins. There was 10 of ours in the water and a long chain. 5 dolphins came at great speed from underneath. You could feel the surge of energy coming up. And then they came up behind us and then jumped over us and just splashed right in front of us back into the water, because you weren't expecting it. Oh my gosh, you were linked in with each other, so no one would be out of alignment. But the sheer it was insane. And all I can remember is that I just screamed with utter joy. The sensation, the energy of these mammals literally jumping over you and landing in front, it was unbelievable. And you just caught your breath, and then seconds later they came back and they did it again, came up and over, and then they swam off. You were left feeling the exhilaration of pure joy. I just cried, I laughed, just every emotion that came up just surged through your whole being. That was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And then they got you to meet the dolphins. And so we just sort of hovered around in the water, and we just, wherever wherever you was placed, you just sort of drifted. And I was left by myself. I sort of drifted away. And it was really interesting because all the dolphins swam around everybody else. And because of my sadness, it was fascinating. I was drifting out on my own. And I thought, oh, yeah, typical. Obviously, they can't sense that I'm sad. I thought they were psychic. Obviously, they're not. Oh, my goodness. You can imagine all the thoughts came through my mind at the time. And then the big dolphin came, and he spied me, and then he swam out. And I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting. What's he going to do? And he circled me. And obviously he was reading my energy. He was reading everything about me. So I telepathically spoke to him and I said, okay, you're obviously not connecting with me because everybody else is, all your other friends are swimming with everybody else, and here I am sad. And next minute he got his tail and he walloped my ass, as to say, get your shit together, girl. And oh my gosh, I realized then he literally had connected with me, and he ushered me back into the group of the other people I was swimming with. And then he called out to the other dolphins, and then they all came around and they were ushering me back into the circle. So yeah, he had singled me out. He had worked out what I needed. And yeah, I got a kick up the backside. And you can imagine it was an insane feeling. And from there, I got to experience, they said to me, go out into the middle of the water there. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So I did so. And they said, I want you to lay on your stomach, put your arms out and your feet out. So you're like, you know, like this, it's Superman. And so I thought, okay, I have no idea what's going to happen here. And all I was told is the dolphins, there's going to be 2 dolphins, they're going to come flying at you. They're going to connect with your foot. And they're going to push you across the top of the water. And then they'll know when to lower you down and you'll be away. And I thought, okay. And so I'm laying there, anticipation of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Sure enough, I heard the whistle. I looked behind me and all I saw was at top speed 2 dolphins, full force, swimming towards me. And I thought, oh, brace myself. And I had, you know, I'm out like this, laying on my stomach, not knowing what the hell to expect. And honestly, imagine this is my body. They came and they connected on each foot. And then they pushed me across the top of the water, but I actually went up like this. So it was like I was standing on water. And I was with my arms out and I was screaming, because you can imagine being pushed across the top of the water with dolphins was insane. The exhilaration that went through my body was mind-blowing. And then you felt them, they just slowed down, and then they just swam away from me. And then from being sort of like a standing along the top of the water, I then slowly came back down, and I was just screaming with utter joy. Honestly, that changed my world. That changed my whole perspective on dolphins. So to know that they were birthing with dolphins, honestly, what I went through, how they healed me, they knew how to read me. They knew how to work with me. Honestly, this is the biggest dream I wish for all mothers, if you wish to do this. Imagine. So I've created this video. Let's put it out there. Let's put it out to the universe, because all those mothers that are about to give birth or future birthing, wouldn't it be magnificent if this is a dream of yours, to give birth with another mammal that can read you instinctively, not by all the rules and regulations? Yes, if you need that side, go for it, no worries. But wouldn't it be amazing if this was an opportunity that could be presented to so many women? Imagine the children coming through and the connection that they would have. It is powerful, and let's just put it out there, because it only takes one person, and then it can be a ripple effect. So let's create this ripple effect and put it out there for the universe to provide something unbelievable. Birthing with dolphins. Let's do it. Let's make it happen for all these mothers and all these future star seeds that's coming through. I love you. So thank you for listening to this one. And I hope you enjoy every minute of it and the opportunities of our future birthing. There could be so many other ways, but I thought when I heard this, that was it. I just had to share this one with you. So like and share, subscribe, and let's keep these videos going. Love you.